into your boys, Andy, Saints plus half a point, or pick them in some spots in Indianapolis with a total set at 43.5. Right now, the bets are on the Saints 63%, with the money heavy on the Colts 62%, 25% sharp differential towards your boys in Indy. This is a tough spot for them. I think with how you guys have looked without AR, I'm going to let you speak here. I think you guys have looked really good, and obviously you didn't get the win in a very close, high-scoring game against the Browns. You made that defense look like trash, and I had the under in that game, and that under was dead in the first half. So,
oh yeah,
you guys can put up points against strong defenses. However, is that going to be consistent? I'm not so sure. I think you've got a great 1-2 punch with Taylor and Moss, and Pittman's coming out of his shell with Gardner Minshew. So there's a lot of good things to look forward to. However, your defense also isn't great. Like, there's nothing much going for the Browns. There's not a lot of positive things going for the Browns, yet they still put up nearly 40 points against you with a backup quarterback, backup running back, Kareem Hunt. But so the Saints offense sucks, so that's why I would definitely lean Colts, but that's the worry I have with you guys, is your defense.
Pittman is only coming out of his shell vocally because he barely got the ball last game, and Josh Downs really dominated, which I'm hype about. I think Josh Downs is an awesome receiver. Got to see him live at UNC Notre Dame last year, where Notre Dame blew the brakes off of him, but Downs still had a really solid game against that great Notre Dame defense. I still think Gardner Minshew's a fraud. I'm gonna be honest with you. I am. I said that last year when he was your guys' backup too.
Yeah,
he ultimately, at the end of the game, some of his mistakes were what cost us. I know that we put up 37 or 38 points against the league's best defense. People were touting this Browns defense as like, you would have thought it was the 85 Bears the way people were talking about this defense, dude, after the first couple of weeks. It was insane. And I think that they were right in some regards. And I touted them really highly too. I think people have enough film where they're figuring them out a bit. It's neither here or there. We're not talking about the Browns. I think that the offense is still going to be really good because there is a lot to be proud about with the offensive line, where he's getting the time. Seems like the offensive line of old, where we had the O-line there ready for any quarterback to step in, and then all the quarterbacks were very mid that we got over the last few years. And Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor are still kind of splitting up. They're figuring out what's going on there as they re-integrate Jonathan Taylor back in. I just don't know how they match up against the Saints defense here, because I think the Saints defense has started to prove they might be a bit more legit than we thought the Browns defense was. And I don't have anything on this game, to be honest with you. I probably would lean Saints. And I know that the Saints offense has been so incompetent. Oh, wow. Actually, no. I cannot believe, why is this total going up? Why is this total going up?
Because you guys scored 40 points and let up 40 points last week.
Correct. But the Saints can't score points. And
right.
I know that we let up a lot of points to the Browns and to Panthers legend PJ Walker. I know. But like
the Saints scored 34 against the Pats a few weeks ago. Keep that in mind.
The Pats are horrible. That's not even one to monitor.
But your defense sucks too.
Okay, I touched on with the Jags though, right? They're one of the worst defenses against the pass, and the Saints could not get anything going throwing the ball against the Jags. Alvin Kamara had a day; he was phenomenal. But I don't know. I like Alvin Kamara props here. His rushing total is around mid-50s. I love that for him. I think that they're gonna run the ball with him 15, 16, 17 times like they have been since he came back from suspension. But that's about all I got here. Maybe lean the under. Probably not going to touch it, though. Unless it's something I feel super passionate about, like I did when the Colts were going to Jacksonville and the spread was only 4. I'm probably not going to touch a Colts game, to be honest with you.
Fair enough. Moving on, this episode comes out every Friday. And, we talk about the unique public betting trends that only we talk about and have. So thank you guys for tuning in and listening. And as always, let us know on Twitter, Reddit, YouTube, now that we post these to YouTube, what your comments are, what you think, if you want to hear things differently. But yeah, thanks for listening to us blabber about sports, and we'll see you next week when we talk about our wins. Right, Andy?
For sure. And be sure to check out our new UFC podcast, Pilsners and Prelims. You can catch myself and Rick on that podcast, releasing every Wednesday whenever there's a UFC card. So we had a preview out for UFC 294. Nothing this week because there's no UFC card, but we will have the UFC Sao Paulo card coming out on Wednesday. So take some of these winnings from NFL and start to get ready to put them on the UFC fight night that's going to be in Brazil. It should be a lot of fun. And Rick and I our Sundays and Mondays are overloaded now with research since we record on Tuesday. So can't wait to hear y'all's reactions to that. I know a lot of people have been asking us for MMA content. Where had the UFC write-ups gone? Where has this been for UFC? Because we had a pretty big UFC presence last year and early this year, but we are back in podcast form. Be sure to find us on wherever you listen to your podcast, as well as on YouTube. Subscribe to Happy Hour Sports on YouTube. Hopefully you guys are watching us on YouTube right now, because I think DJ and I are both having a great hair day. So be sure to check us out. Subscribe on YouTube. Give us a like. Give us any feedback you got. And last but not least, the boys bet better with beer.